The Adventure of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Longman Simplified English Series. Read by Sirinthip Pengprasittipong. Chapter 2.
The French is whitewashed. Saturday morning has come, and all the world was bright and fresh. There was a song in every heart, cheerfulness in every face, and a spring in every step. Tom appeared on the pavement with a bucket of whitewash and a long heavy brush. He grasped the fence thoughtfully, and his heart was filled with despair. 30 yards of fence 9 feet high. It seemed to him that life was not worth living, that existence was only a burden. Sighing, he dipped this butt into buckets and passed it along the topmost board. Repeat the operation. Did it again. Complete the trifling whitewashed ship with the immensity of unwhitewashed fence, and sat down on a box. Disgusted, Jim came dancing out at the gate with a bucket, singing. Before this, drinking water from the town pump had always been wasteful work in Tom's opinion. But now it did not seem so. He remembered that there was company at the pump. Boys and girls were always there, raising their turn, resting, exchanging, pasting, quarreling, fighting, and folding about. He remembered that although the pump was only 150 yards away, Jim never got back a bucket of water in less than an hour. Even then somebody generally had to go after him. "I say, Jim," said Tom, "I'll fetch the water if you'll whitewash a bit." Jim shook his head. "I can't, Master Tom. The mistress told me not to study fooling about by anyone." "Oh, never mind what she says, Jim. Give me the bucket. I won't be a minute. She won't know." Tom Sawyer. "Oh, I daren't, Master Tom. She would take my head off. She would really. She never has anybody. She just gives them a little slap. And who cares about that? Jim, I'll give you a marble." Jim was only human. This temptation was too much for him. He pushed down the bucket and took the marble. In another minute he was flying down the street with the bucket. Tom was watching. Ginny Collie and Aunt Polly was returning to the house with a slipper in her hand and triumphant gleam in her eye. But Tom's energy did not last. He began to think of the fun he had planned for this day. Soon he knew the three boys would come hurrying along all sorts of delightful trips, and they would laugh at him for having to work. The very dew of it burned him like fire. He got out, examined his woolly well. It consisted of bits of toys, marble and tabbies, and was not enough to buy even half an hour of pure freedom. And this dark and hopeless moment he has an idea, a glorious idea. He took the brush and went calmly to work. Presently Ben Roger, whose mockery he has been daring most, came inside. In his hand there was a fire apple. Tom went on watching and paid no attention to him. Ben stared a moment and then said, "Hi, you are in trouble, aren't you?" There was no answer. Tom regarded his last task with the eye of an errant. Then he gave his brush another gentle sweep, and inspected the results as before. Ben came nearer. Tom's man was for the apple, but he stuck to his work. "Hello, Tom," said Ben. "You have to work." "Why is you, Ben? I dishonest you. I say, I'm going swimming. Don't you wish you? The friend is whitewash. Could come, but of course you'd rather work, wouldn't you?" "Of course you would." Tom asked the boy thoughtfully. "What do you call work?" "Why, isn't that work?" Tom filled his brush with whitewash and answered curiously, "Well, perhaps it is, and perhaps it isn't, but it should." Tom said. "What? Do you mean to say that you like it?" The bus continued to move. "Like it? Well, I don't see why I shouldn't like it. A boy doesn't get a chance every day to write works, a friend. Ben has never thought of this before." He took a bite out of the apple. Tom swept his brush aesthetically to and fro. Then he stepped back to note the effect. He added a touch here and there, and synthesized the effect again. Ben was watching every move and getting more and more interest. "I say, Tom, let me whitewash a bit," said Ben presently. Tom considered and was about to consent, but he changed his mind. "No, no! You see, Aunt Polly's very particular about this fence. It's facing the street, you know. If it was the back fence, I wouldn't mind." "And she wouldn't?" "Yes, she's very particular about this fence. It must be done very carefully. I don't think there's one boy in 1,000, perhaps 2,000, who can do it in the way it has to be done." "Is that so? How interesting! Let me just try, only just a little. I would let you, if you were me. Tom, Ben, I like to really, but Aunt Polly wouldn't like it. Jim wants to do it, but she wouldn't let him. Sid wants to do it, but he wouldn't let Sid. Now, don't see that impossible. If you start to whitewash this fence, and anything went wrong." Tom said, "Oh, nonsense. I'll be very careful. Now let me try. I say, I'll give you my apple when I have nearly finished it." "Well, no, Ben, I mustn't, I'm afraid. I'll give you all of it." Tom gave up the brush with a leanness in his face, but exclaimed in his heart. Why, Ben worked and sweat in the sun. The retired artist sat on a barrel in the shade close by, ate his apple, and planned the downfall of more innocent victims. Boys arrived frequently. They came to mock, but remained to whitewash. By the time Ben was tried out, Tom had promised the next chance to Billy Fisher for a car in good repair. When Billy retired, Johnny Miller bought his place for a disc that a string to swing with which. Thus the work went on hour after hour. By the middle of the afternoon, Tom was wealthy. He had, besides the thing, mentored above 12 marbles, a pair of spectacles without glasses, a pint of blue bottle glass, 2 look through, a key that would not unlock anything, a pile of chalk, a tin soldier, 2 tiny frogs, a little cat with only one eye, a brass door handle, a dog collar, the handle of a knife, and an old window frame. He had had a night. Idle time and plenty of company. And the friend had 3 coats of whitewash on it. If he had not run short of whitewash, he would have stripped every boy in the village of his proudest possession. Tom said to himself that life was worth living after all. He has discovered, without knowing it, this great law of human action. In order to make a man or a boy deserve a thing, it is only necessary to make the thing difficult to obtain.